Welcome to the Easy Decimal app. This app provides convenient visualizations for various aspects of this topic. Let's examine the tools offered by this app. We will start by bringing in a new unit onto the screen. Note we are now in drag mode, so we can drag the unit. We will now move to split. Since we are interested in decimal numbers, the split will divide the unit into 10. So we'll click, and now we have 10 tenths. If we now click in one of the tenths, it will be divided into 10 as well. So here we have 10 hundredths. We can also click and drag the mouse down to divide many tenths with one operation. If we click one of the hundredths, it will be divided into 10 as well, into thousandths, like this. And we can also click here and drag the mouse down, and with one motion, divide the whole unit into thousandths. Now let's go back to drag mode and drag this out of the screen and let go. This erases the component. Now let's bring a new unit. We'll click Split again and split it into tenths, and split the last tenth into hundredths, and the last hundredth into thousandths. This division helps us easily represent any decimal number with tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Let's click Color. Now we can color a tenth, and we see it as a decimal number over here. We can color hundredths and thousandths. So, for example, to create the number 0.987, we simply get 9 tenths, 8 hundredths, and 7 thousandths. The maximum number of tenths, hundredths, and thousandths is 9, and these are all available for coloring in this representation. We can erase colors by simply clicking a colored area again. We can also drag down to erase colors of many areas simultaneously. We'll erase the hundredths as well as the thousandths. We also have the Combine tool, the last one we didn't touch yet, and let's see how we use it. If we try to click here, nothing will happen because this tenth is divided into hundredths, as well as thousandths. The Combine will work when we're clicking an area that is divided in only one way, so we can click here. This will combine the thousandths. Now we can combine the hundredths. Now let's look at the different representations we have here. So we already saw that we have a decimal representation. This is the default. We can cancel it to see nothing. We can move to a fraction representation. So we have 4 tenths. Let's cancel it. We can also see this as a percentage, 40%. And here we have a representation as a reduced fraction. This one will not always exist. If we erase one of the tenths, we only have 3 tenths, and this is not reducible. So this representation will not appear. So let's go back to this representation. We can also have a few at the same time, like this. And we can erase this panel if we want. This slider enables us to enlarge or decrease the size of the unit. Now we have seen all the tools of the app. Let's also see some examples of their use. We're going to click Next Page, a page that we prepared. And here we have an addition question. Let's represent these numbers with the app. So we'll bring one unit here, make it a little smaller so we have room for another unit here. Let's use the Split button to make room for these numbers. So we'll divide it into tenths and hundredths, and here as well. Now let's click Color and create 0.43. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And now 0.38, 3 tenths, and 8 hundredths. Now let's erase these representations. So we'll erase this, and erase the panels. One way to think about the addition is to take all the value from here and put it in here. So the entire value will be in one unit. This is possible here because the sum is, of course, smaller than 1. So we're still in color mode. We can use this color mode also to erase colors. So let's erase. 1, 2, 3. And put this value here. 1, 2, 3. Here we have room for 700ths. So let's take 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and put them here, 7. We can now use the combine tool. So let's click it and combine these hundredths to a tenth. Now let's move the final hundredth. We'll make some room here. Click Color and put it here. In class, we could now ask the students, what is this number? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths and 1 hundredth. So let's show panel and show the decimal number corresponding to this representation, which is the answer to the question. We'll now give one more example. The task of the students here is to order these numbers according to their value. So many students might think that this looks like the largest number because it's 302, and this is only 4. So let's create the representations. We'll bring in a unit, make it smaller, a little bigger. Now let's click Split to make room for all the numbers. So here we only have tenths. Here we have tenths and a hundredth. Here we have tenth, a hundredth, and thousandth. We don't have hundredths here actually, but we still need the thousandths. Now let's color. 0.4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.31 is 1, 2, 3 tenths, and 1 hundredth. Here we have 1, 2, 3 tenths, no hundredths, and 2 thousandths. We don't actually need the panel now, so let's just see these numbers. So when we read 302, it's important to emphasize 302 what? Or if we read this as 0.31, 31 what? So let's see what this actually means. We can click Split, click here, and split the whole unit into hundredths. And now we can see that this 31 represents 31 hundredths. So when the unit is divided into hundredths, this is best read as 0.31. While it was represented like this emphasizes the reading of 0.31, 3 tenths, and 1 hundredth. So these are two important ways of looking at this number. Same over here. Let's click Split and split again into thousandths. And here we have 302 thousandths. So that's it. And we hope you enjoy these tools in class.